Kathy Aston. I organised this event with George Marshall, and I'm a member of CNU.
I'm Suai. I'm a researcher at the University of Sheffield.
Megan.
I'm Charlie.
Bernard, I live in Sheffield and I've been here for about 30 years.
My name's John Grant. I'm a senior lecturer at Sheffield Hallam University. Born and bred in Sheffield. I've been working in the university lecturing students for around 25 years or so on climate change, environmental systems, construction, sustainable policy, that kind of thing. So this is my life.
Interested very much in the subject. I've been a Green Councillor in Sheffield. Feel very angry about how the world is going, wondering how I can talk to people in a sort of a way that engages them rather than puts them off, as it were.
Is it embarrassing to admit that I am pretty much raging angry all the time? All the time. I don't act it because there's no point in showing that. But every so often, I describe it as a bit of a furnace door, and for the most part, I have this door shut, and it can be the oddest things that can just undo the latch ever so slightly, and the furnace door just flies open. And I don't believe I become irrational, but I certainly am not a good communicator because I'm right and they are wrong. And I've got all the information to prove that. So I know I'm right. And this is the danger of being a lecturer for more than 20 years. You know you're right. And I came here to actually try to understand how somebody like George Marshall is capable of communicating so effectively to people that he disagrees with so vehemently. And I struggle with that. It's really easy talking to people who agree with you, isn't it? You know, and it's easy talking to people who have no opinion. I can be really civil to those. But let me tell you, if I came across somebody who earns a 6 to 8 figure income digging up tar sands, I would struggle to talk coherently to them. And yet I just watched how you do that so effectively. It was kind of embarrassing. Sorry, I'm going on a bit.
Great, fantastic. Such a great event. I'm so glad I came.
Very relative to our course, I think, because we both do environmental science, so...
Yeah, we're both in our third year as well, so coming to stuff like this, it's kind of like really good for us to like open our eyes to a broader picture, I think.
Well, I was very pleased. We managed to fill the room, and also I think there was quite a good variety of ages, both genders, quite gender balanced. There were people I knew, which I expected, from various green organisations, and then there's quite a few people I didn't know, and that was quite encouraging. There also seemed to be a buzz about it. People were very interested, engaged, talking to each other. I don't know what time is it now, it's 20 to 9, we finished at 8, people are still in there talking. Some of them are down the pub, still talking.
To personalise communications to the audience that you're targeting, to not assume that communications are one general thing, but it's something that we need to think about individually for each case, for each audience, for each specific message.
I think George explained very well the points that we have to be in the person that we want to communicate skin, like inside their own thoughts, and not try to communicate based on our way of thinking, and always try to be interpreting the question from the hearer's point of view. Yeah.
Definitely like look at your audience and kind of assess them first before you start going in like all guns blazing.
Different approach to things, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So like an angry approach, sort of changing people's views.
Like validate their opinions first. Like, so look at what they believe in. Don't disagree with that straight away necessarily, kind of like validate them, get their trust, and then you can try and open their eyes to what you believe in.
Society is made up of lots and lots of groups of people who have values of themselves, of their own, that I think it's important to embrace those when you talk to people, so they don't feel that that we, as Greens, as it were, are separate to them and their concerns. Trying to break down that separateness, really.
George explained very well that we have to be aware that people's interests and beliefs will be always more considering. Will be more considered by the people than the proper arguments, because people try to believe in their stories and not the facts and figures.
Well, to be fair, a lot of those messages are ones I read already in George's book, which is called Don't Even Think About It, Why We're Hardwired to Ignore Climate Change. So it's about really trying to understand the values of the person that you're communicating about climate change to, and starting with those values, trying to speak in their language, and I think also being, kind of non-judgmental about it.
It's a difficult subject to broach with people. I've worked in the NHS in Sheffield for a very long time, 20 years. I find it's very difficult to talk to those people because so many of them are addicted to going on their holidays 3, 4, 5 times a year, flying. How do you broach those people on a subject that they know is a subject they'll feel very uncomfortable about, and I feel uncomfortable about?
It's actually really simple. It's authenticity. That if you're going to talk to anybody, you have to be authentic. And the sad truth is, I'm not authentic to a large number of people. It doesn't matter that I've got 25 years of experience teaching. I've got 3 undergraduate and postgraduate degrees, and on the subject that I'm talking about, that matters not one jot to people. That facts don't matter, authenticity matters, and just to understand that, and that if you're going to talk to somebody about that, that's where you come from, and then people will listen to you.
I think it's very easy for people who are engaged with climate change to be a bit judgmental about people who are not. So I think one of the most important changes is perhaps to be empathetic and understand where people are coming from in order to communicate with them effectively.
Any insight into the psychology of communicating something that people don't want to hear, I think, is important, and that's the main message I've heard tonight, really.
It turns out that people listen to who they believe they are the heroes of their story. It turns out we're all the heroes of our story, and you have to find out how to release the inner hero so that it generally does the right thing. And it turns out that most people are good, which is nice.
I think definitely friends that aren't so aware of the issues, that do different courses maybe, don't have so much of a broad awareness of climate change. Speak to them.
And the elderly.
The
elderly generation.
My nan.
Your nan?
Yeah, my nan.
Well, I've been always trying to talk to people about that, but it's good that we can try to communicate to less informed people now with this new skill, so it may be a good approach to bring the conversation more to the general public, that as an academic I've been used to talk about this more in the academia.
Well, I've just been talked into running for council again by the Green Party. So it's probably going to be a number of people on the doorstep, which is always fun. I always enjoy that because most people are so polite, and that's the truth. That's the truth. They understand that we're doing these things because we kind of want to make a difference, and that's nice. But maybe I'll be able to try and make out that I'm authentic. So instead of saying exactly what I said to you, university lecturer, 25 years experience, 3 undergraduate degrees and postgraduate degrees, you've got to believe what I say, because maybe I'll say, I'm from Sheffield and I want Sheffield to be better. And I understand it because I grew up in a council estate just like this one. Maybe that's where I should start. I always thought it was about corroborating your data and making yourself to be somebody who understood it, and it turns out that comes later. First thing you've got to do is talk to people and be authentic to them, and dang it, why didn't I know that before?